24 hours is not enough time in a day for me to do everything I want to do. I spend majority of my day at uni. I come home, then I need to, of course, still take care of personal necessities, eating, washing, of course, most importantly, my salah. Remember as well that I still have assignments and studying to do. And I also don't want to get in bed too late at night, because that sleep is vital for my productivity for the next day. So where am I meant to make time for Qur'an, any spiritual improvement, exercise, or even just some leisure time to relax and take a break from my hectic day. End quote. My name is Muhammad, proud and practicing Muslim, South African, and computer science student at one of the top 3 universities in South Africa. I say that only to give legitimacy to my speech, to confirm to you that I'm not just a couple of pixels on a screen. The quote I read at the beginning of the video was me. That was, I think there's 2 stages that I can describe this to you, but that was me once upon a time, just not having a clear understanding of how time works and so on. I think one stage of me experiencing this time management dilemma would be post leaving high school at my delusional days versus maybe the past 6 months or so. But I think that period of high school, my whole perspective on time management, I think maybe that isn't worth going into, because I think not only did I have poor time management, but I also kind of didn't care, right? But so maybe the past 6 months really for me I can speak to a bit. It's obviously more recent, I can speak a bit better on that. So just a concept that I've been tackling with, and I think I have a decent understanding of it now, time management. And so about maybe 6 to 9 months ago, I found myself in that position of almost wondering where I was gonna get the time for the things that I wanted to do, because work was getting a lot, university work, school work, whatever you want to call it, studying. And there was, of course, other responsibilities, or other, maybe not even responsibilities to be fair, but just other, there were other activities that I wanted to do within a day. A simple example was like working out or exercising. For a long while prior to like 6 months ago, I consistently had the time and opportunity to work out pretty easily, and then all of a sudden it just felt like I didn't have the time. And I personally know why, but we don't have to get into that. But the point is, I came across this dilemma of how am I supposed to make time for the activities that I need to or want to do. And so look, before I explain the idea or the concept that kind of helped me navigate through my whole time management issue, I want to put forth a verse that I think is profound, and it's one of my personal favorite verses. I pretty much repeat this or revise this every day. I'm not gonna say that I think it's the most important verse in the Quran. I think it's a very ignorant thing of me to say, being that I'm unlearned. But the verse, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, where the Almighty says, and I did not create the jinn and mankind except that they should worship me. Put simply, it's such a short verse, but it encompasses one of the most troublesome questions that a lot of people face, is about like, what is my purpose on this earth? And God pretty much says it, I mean, quite clearly from our perspective anyway. You've been created only to worship me. That's it. Obviously there's an aspect of like, what does it mean to worship, and that's a whole separate discussion. Further research recommended. That being said, the concept that I think helped me a lot is this idea that you're going to make time for what you value and what you deem important. I think, I mean, if you just consider this for a moment, that you've never felt like you needed to almost, you've never said that you don't have time for your phone, or you don't often say that. You don't often say you don't have time for your social media when you scroll every day. For those who love video games, maybe you don't say that you don't have time. Often you don't say you don't have time. Yes, I mean, I think the point is simple though. You make time for that which you value. You make time. The idea is flawed when we say we don't have time. Because when someone says I don't have time, at least in my mind, it's a different way of saying I don't want to make time for this thing. Oftentimes, because of course there's situations where life presents certain circumstances where you genuinely can't take care of certain things, which, okay, those are exceptions, but I mean, for most of us, we have the ability and freedom to dictate how we want to spend our time. And a lot of the time it's just we choose to do certain other things over others. And it's that simple, because the question becomes, what are you prioritizing? What are your main goals and objectives at this very moment? And all you need to do is align your time, align your actions throughout the day, align your activities to fit your objectives. And I think it solves the whole issue, right? Like I say, this is excluding the whole idea that people have certain things going on that genuinely, exempt them from those who actually have the time or the ability to dictate where they want to put their time. That being said, I mean, again, I think one of the verses that really does steer you when it comes to this issue of time management is just remembering the powerful verse where the Almighty says, and I did not create the jinn and mankind except that they should worship me. I mean, it really puts into perspective the more you think about it, where our time should be allocated, what we should be doing. If you don't have time for this specific thing, is it really that important? Does it align with your goals and objectives? If not, then it's fine. It's okay. You don't have to. It's fine if you don't get time to do it. And those things are all important. Those things that you do deem worthy of your time, you have to sacrifice other things and make time for that thing. Obviously, we all have a priority list, things that are more important than others. And that priority list will, or should, correlate to our time management, or how we allocate our time, essentially. That being said, yeah, that's that.